Deciding when the time is right for you to leave your corporate job and go full-time into your food truck is a significant decision, and it requires careful consideration. So today we're going to talk about some factors that you want to take into account before you step into your boss's office and tell him to take the job and, well, you know what. Welcome to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. My name is Bill Moore. I am a food truck business coach, author of 5 food truck vending books, including Food Truck 101 and Food Truck 201. This podcast is all about helping you start and grow your food truck business.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. From your morning podcast to your afternoon playlist, State Farm knows you personalize your entire day, and that's why State Farm helps you personalize your insurance with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It offers coverage options that help protect what you care about most at an affordable price just for you. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
There are 2 major considerations everybody has on their mind when they're deciding whether they should leave their corporate job or not. The first one is insurance. The second one is income. How do you replace the income? How do you find the insurance that's affordable? 2 separate topics. Today we're going to focus in on the income aspect because that one is the one that's most important, because if you don't generate enough income, then you can't buy your own insurance anyway. So what you got to do is think about your food truck idea. Whatever you're currently doing, will it sustain itself if you're open more frequently than you currently are? So, for example, if you only work big events and only work once or twice a month, how are you going to find enough jobs, enough locations, enough opportunities to sell your food in between those big events? Because obviously, if the big events aren't generating enough income for you to leave your job easily, then you got to be able to fill in with something. What are you going to do? So it's almost like you're trying to reinvent your business plan, because now you're going from operating occasionally or part-time to operating full-time. So you got to make sure that your menu and the way you operate can be duplicated more days a week and longer hours. Now you already know your food's liked. Otherwise you wouldn't even be thinking about leaving your job to begin with. You may even have built up a reputation. But we're going to conduct market research for the days that you don't normally open now, for the hours you don't normally operate. Are people going to have an interest in coming to see you at those different times and those different days? You got to know that. The easiest market research you can do would be to talk to your own guest base and find out from them, hey, if I'm going to be open 5 days a week, do you think you might eat one more time a week? If I'm going to be open later in the night or earlier in the day, would you come check us out? Does that fit in well with your schedule? So ask some people before you make that decision. You want to evaluate your business model. Currently, if you're doing part-time, that means you're most likely doing it all yourself, perhaps a family member or 2 helping you, maybe even a very part-time employee. The second that you increase your hours of operation or the number of days a week you're working, you increase your workload as well as the workload of everybody that you have employed. Will they be able to work the hours that you need, or you're going to have to hire yet another person? So it's another expense you got to think about, because what you're wanting to do is grow your business from where it currently stands to where it can supply the income you need to be able to leave that full-time job. You want to evaluate your personal financial situation. And this can be challenging, especially in the early stages when you decide to leave the corporate world. So before you ever make that decision, look at your personal finances. A couple things that I advise people to do is you want to have enough money set aside for at least 6 months of personal living expenses. That way you know that you can quit that job and have some confidence about it. And then ideally, you jump in head first and you start making the sales and making the profits that you need, so you never actually touch that 6 months worth of savings. But at least it's there as a backup in case you have a rainy season or you have a couple of weather events that close you down. At least you have money to pay the bills. So you got to make sure you have money set aside, not for the business, but for your personal expenses. Because it's no fun to stress the profitability of your business and then go home and stress not being able to pay your electric bill. Now, a lot of people have no clue how to do their personal finances as far as just collecting up information. Gather up your bank statements, your credit card statements, any investment accounts that you have, anything else that has to do with money, gather it up. Get it in one place and look at it. See what you really have coming into your family, into your personal bank accounts, and then look at what's going out on the other side. Go through your expenses. Is there something you can cut back on? Do you have every possible streaming service there is, but you only watch TV 2 hours a week? look into things that you can thin down without changing your lifestyle. Because again, you got to depend upon your food truck business to do 100% of the support of your family. I strongly urge before you quit that corporate job is you create a budget, a personal budget, not a business budget, a personal budget so you know exactly what income is required as well as how that income is going to be spent on your housing, on your utilities, on your groceries, on your personal vehicles. You have to have that budget. You have to pre-spend the money. It makes your life a whole lot easier when it's already pre-spent. All you got to do is make sure that you have each account funded appropriately. You want to look at your personal credit report because you don't want to get to the point where you have to take out a personal loan and then realize that, I don't qualify for one. So you want to have all of your financial ducks in a row. You want to identify any areas for improvement within your expenses. Where can you cut down? You may realize that, man, I eat out way more than I should. Hopefully with you running your food truck, you won't be eating out near as much, but look at how you are eating out. Are you eating out with the family or is it just you at lunchtime? So really take a hard look at the areas where you can improve on your personal expenditures. Then set financial goals. Those financial goals for your personal finances should include both long-term and short-term goals. Ideally, if you have any debt, you want to pay it off. If you have car payments or loans or a house payment, you want to pay that off as quickly as you can. You want to have a long-term goal of saving money for retirement or saving money for your kids' college. Or maybe you're looking to buy a home and you want to save a down payment to put on that home. Have those goals identified. And then create a plan so you can achieve those goals and then track your progress. So you're going to treat your personal finances as if it's a business. That's why we talk about having a business plan. When you start the food truck, well, you're going to have a financial plan to take care of yourself and your family. Just remember that analyzing your personal finances is an ongoing process. Just like analyzing your food costs is a weekly process in a food truck, you want to look to see where you stand at least a couple of times a month. Is the income where you thought it would be? Are the expenditures where you thought they would be? Now, besides your getting your finances in order so that you can understand how much money and income is required to be generated by the food truck, you also want to get your personal life a little bit better organized. Because what you're going to see is once you jump into the food truck full time, a lot of your free time, your personal time is going to evaporate. It's going to be consumed by the business. You want to consider how that's going to impact your social life, your family life, your children's life, and of course your own off time, so to speak. Because you can't be working 24/7. You have to find time to take care of yourself as well as take care of the people in your life. So you need to have that plan of how I'm going to manage the time, and then give yourself permission to take time off from work. Not in as you're going to close and not do service, but there's going to be some evenings where you just don't deal with work. You don't deal with the food truck at all because it'll all be there tomorrow. You got to unplug from the food truck. You want to have a strong support system because when you have a corporate life and you're doing a food truck part-time, that's pretty cool. Everybody thinks that's awesome. But when you quit that corporate world and say, I'm going to do my food truck full-time, now people look at you like you're a nut. There's something about a food truck that a lot of people find appealing until someone says they want to run one and they want to run it full time. So make sure that your support system, we're talking about your spouse, your children, your adult children, your friends, any mentors or coaches that you have are on board with giving you the support and the motivation you need to overcome those obstacles. The one thing you don't want to do is quit a cushy corporate job without the support of your spouse, because the first problem you have on that food truck, you're going to be hit with I told you so for months. The support system has got to be there. You also want to make sure you have emotional support. It's going to be challenging. I'm not going to lie to you and say, it's a piece of cake. Just quit your job. It'll be fine. You need to have someone that you can talk to and confide in, especially when you're feeling overwhelmed or upset. This can be a friend. It can be a family member. It could be a therapist. It could be a support group. But you need to have somebody that speaks the language of entrepreneurship. Sometimes that can be the hardest thing to find is someone who's walked in your footsteps. Certainly a spouse can be supportive, but unless they've been on that food truck with you and seen what you have to deal with, they may not understand some of the things you're complaining about. So make sure you have someone that's going to support you emotionally. You want to have practical support. Now, this is going to get back into a little bit of time management that we were talking about. Currently, whatever you're doing in your life to run your household, whether all you do is support your spouse who's running the household full time, or you're just doing your daily chores. Once you jump into the food truck full time, again, you will lose track of time with the family, which would include errands, picking up the kids from daycare, dropping the kids off at daycare, getting the bills paid, going grocery shopping, filling up the vehicles. that time is suddenly gone, and then you start to forget things. And you need to make sure you have the support system in place. The kids are going to do these errands. These kids are going to do these chores. This spouse is going to do these chores, and pick up some of the at-home slack, at least at first, so that you can focus 100% on your business. Once you get the business under control, then you can start to take back some of those chores and lighten the load of the family. You want to make sure that you have some self-care tools. Whatever speaks to you, do it. It could be a meditation app. It could be a gratitude journal. It could be a yoga mat. It could be exercise. It could be walking. It could be listening to music. It could be reading. Take time for yourself so that you're totally unplugged from all the trials and tribulations of work as well as home life. Because that re-energizing goes a lot farther than if you just try to work all the time. Even if you only take 30 minutes or 40 minutes for yourself, that's better than constantly working, because you will drag yourself down. Make sure you have positive relationships with people who support you and encourage you. If you find that you have some of your friends that are always laughing at you because you're having trouble on the food truck, you might want to find a new group of friends. You want people that are going to support and uplift you, give you good advice, and if they don't have good advice to give, at least they can tell you, you got this. Go out there and make it happen. That's a whole lot better than laughing at you because something bad has happened. Remember, your personal support system should be tailored to your individual needs and preferences. There is no one out there that can tell you how to set up your personal support system. So you figure it out and then stick with it. Seek out the resources that you need and the support that's going to help you thrive. Ultimately, the decision to leave a full-time job and jump headfirst into your food truck business, that's a personal decision. There is nobody that can tell you the best way to do it. You got to weigh the pros and cons, go through some of the things I mentioned throughout this podcast, but mainly make sure you have the passion and the drive and the resources that are going to help you succeed as that food truck owner. Passion will make up for a world of mistakes. If you don't have the passion, stay at your corporate job. At least it's security. Thank you so much for listening to the 10-Minute Food Truck Training Podcast. If you're finding all the information helpful to your food truck business, please become a monthly supporter of the podcast. Just hit the support button or follow the link in the description. Every little bit does help keep us going. Join our Facebook group. It's called Food Truck Training. We have a whole bunch of awesome members at all different levels, from brand new beginners to decades-old veterans. They've all got your back when it comes to helping you with your food truck. And again, thank you for listening. Come back tomorrow, because I got plenty more to say when it comes to helping you and your food truck business grow.